Today's question is it okay to not invite someone to your wedding if you don't like them? G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Asshole? Now, if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and get ready for it. Let's go. Would I be the asshole if I asked my dad to not bring his wife to my wedding? So I'm supposed to be getting married in less than a month. My fiancé, 30 male, and I, 28 female, have already delayed it once in the initial outbreak of COVID. Things were looking okay for a while, so we booked my workplace as our venue. I work in a historic home that functions as a restaurant and bed and breakfast and offers wedding packages. Anyway, restrictions have been tightened, and now it's a max of 10 people allowed for weddings, not including the officiant or the photographer. I'm already bummed that one of my grandparents won't make it due to surgery, but their health comes first for me. Which brings me to my dad's wife. I hesitate to call her a stepmother, since she did no mothering whatsoever to my sister and I. I find her to be a generally unpleasant person to be around, even though there's really nothing wrong with her. It feels more like an animal instinct when I'm around her, like my hackles are rising. She's never liked us either, and gave very preferential treatment to her daughter, who is 10 years my junior. Things will already be kinda tense at the wedding, since both my parents are still petty towards each other, even though they apparently made up years ago, for all the good that's done. And I just want this incredibly stressful event to just be over with. I don't want the added stress of having to play nice with someone that I truly don't give two Fs about. Would I be the asshole if I asked my dad to just come alone so I can avoid all the unpleasantness? I feel like I'd be the asshole since my dad would be alone, as the other guests are mostly from my mum's side. Edit. I should have added the context of the relationship with my dad too. I've never seen him as much of a father figure, more like a cool older guy friend I was raised with. I'm not close with my mother either due to her religious pressuring and general attitude of a preteen girl. But I figured that info might be a bit more helpful. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. My dad will be alone at the wedding with no one to talk to, and that makes me feel kinda crappy, but his wife makes him kind of insular. Now in the comments, not the asshole, but you should communicate it properly. Talk about key factors, 10 people limit, you and his wife aren't close to each other, you would like to make room for people that are close to your heart. In these situations, the father usually threatens to not come either and causes strain on your relationship with him. But that speaks volumes of what kind of person he is. Look, I'm a firm believer in the rule that it's your wedding day and you and your groom should do as you please. But I think you need to slow down and enjoy your own wedding. I get that it's stressful, you've had it postponed, your guests are limited. But in such a short post, you referred to your wedding as nothing other than a stressful event. It should be an amazing day. You are not the asshole, because you should make this day your best day and enjoy every minute. You're the asshole. A wedding guest generally brings their spouse. You don't even have a reason. How would you like it if next Christmas they invited you, but not your husband, because your husband makes your stepmother's hackles rise? You would go ballistic. And OP replies, not really. We see our families exclusive of each other pretty often. We have been together for a really long time, so those kinds of things are largely inconsequential. And now, onto the update. So, update for anyone who read my initial post from a few weeks ago. I actually did ask my dad this despite the general advice from commenters. I gave the reason as calmly and as logically as possible, and he was predictably unsupportive. I understand that, and so we've decided to postpone the wedding once more to July 11th. We were initially meant to be married on June 6th, our 10-year anniversary. My fiancé jokes that it's kinda awesome to get married on 7/11. Thanks to those who supported my question and called me out on it. I'll admit that I'm still conflicted, but both my dear husband and I decided that should the limitations remain at 10 people into July, we'll put both of our feet down and lay down our rules. Family be damned. I've spent enough time worrying and stressing about this day that I just want to enjoy the generosity of my workplace and the people who want to celebrate this milestone with us. I will not tolerate the pettiness that runs rampant in my family anymore. Now in the comments, 10 people is so limited. Anyone in the time of COVID should understand that only being able to have 10 people at a wedding means no plus ones. So that is 5 people on your side, 5 on your husband's side. Dad's wife just doesn't make the cut, regardless if you like her or not. I bet that there are people you do like who are going to not get an invite, and Dad needs to understand this. And OP replies, very much so. I'd love for other people to be there, it's just not possible. I don't want to get my workplace in trouble, or at worst, lose my job. I know your decision has been made, but I just went over to read the original post. I saw that you find your dad's wife to be rather unpleasant. Just wanted to say that it would be okay to decide that you didn't want her to come just for that reason alone, attendance limit or not. Your wedding is supposed to be about you, what you want, surrounded by the people you want there. I ask this sincerely, would you guys be happier just eloping? It sounds like you aren't exactly thrilled about having either of your parents there to begin with, based on your first post. And OP replies, it's funny. My dad always told me to elope when I was younger. As dear husband and I got further into our relationship, everyone kept asking when we'd get married. We've technically been married for about 8 years as common law spouses. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for telling my friend in the middle of a game that I wish he would just be toxic like a normal person instead of an annoying piece of crap? So me, 23, and my friends, male and female 21 to 24, play competitive MOBAs together, and usually we talk a little bit of crap here and there. But for the most part, we are pretty chill. However, one of my friends, male 24, has this really weird habit that pisses me off all the time. Essentially, the more badly the game is going, or the worse he is playing, the more he criticizes himself and talks about how terrible he is. The thing that drives me crazy about this is he's honestly by far the best player in our group, and whenever stuff goes wrong that obviously isn't his fault, he's just like, sorry guys, it's my fault. I'm playing like crap. This dude can be 9-0, and he will say that he got lucky and got carried by us. The other day, it got particularly bad when we had a series of games where it just went really badly, and he started getting noticeably frustrated. Again, he was doing the least bad in our group, and it would have been more fair to blame the other people in the group like me. And he started saying over and over how trash of a player he was, and how he was a trash human being that disappoints everyone in his family and all his friends. Like, holy crap. That's when I blew up and just said, I wish you would shut the F up and just be toxic like a normal person. Blame us, or blame the game like you should be, since you're doing so obviously better than the rest of us. You are being an annoying POS, with all this self-depreciating crap. He then apologized and then muted himself for the rest of the game. Afterwards, the rest of my friend group called me an asshole because he's actually depressed in real life. I just said being depressed doesn't give you the right to be an annoying asshole to everyone in the group. It's just like toxic modesty, which I feel like is worse and more annoying than someone actually just getting pissed off at people or the game like normal. So Reddit, am I the asshole for my statements? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I told off someone who was depressed, and that alone I could see might make me an asshole, which is why I'm unsure. Now in the comments, LOL says, you're the asshole. There are better ways to tell him than that. He's clearly not doing great, and you are clearly not doing well being a friend. And OP replies, well, what do I even say to the dude when he's already attacking himself harder than anyone else possibly could? Like, I've tried in the past to be like, oh yeah, okay, fine, it's 100% your fault that we're losing. And he just agrees, and other people in our playgroup think I'm either joking or being a dick. So I don't know what I could even say to him to change this. OP, you could try shutting up about it. I would have pulled him aside in private, well, the digital equivalent of that, and talked to him about why he feels that way. He obviously has issues and needs help. His behavior is one of the common cries for help. Shutting him down can have drastic consequences for him. That said, you are not responsible for fixing him. As a friend, you probably should do your best anyway. Definitely don't do what you did though, if you care for him. And OP replies to that, he never usually wants to talk about personal stuff outside of gaming because he doesn't want to be a burden on anyone. Yeah, so then leave him alone. He gets to choose who he talks to about it. The more that I read from you, the more I'm pretty sure you don't experience a lot of empathy. You don't seem like a very good friend or compassionate person. This can be fixed. In truly the kindest way possible, I suggest you see a therapist. It is not normal for this to bother you as much as it does. You're the asshole. The fact you want him to take his frustrations out on others is pretty damn toxic. And OP replies, I mean, come on, I'd rather he blame me and cuss me out when it's my fault than this fake modesty crap. Oh, it's actually my fault because I should have done literally everything perfectly to win that fight by myself. That sort of thing drives me nuts. Do you think reiterating your annoyance is going to make me change my ruling in your favor, OP? If you like, I can change my judgment to you being the only asshole here. And OP replies, it's just that I get frustrated in games and stuff. But since when is this considered a good outlet for it? It just feels more self-serving of a frustration begging for sympathy points. Fine, you convinced me. You're the only asshole here. And now onto the update. Well, this has been a rollercoaster to say the least. I was quite clearly raked over the coals by you guys the last time as being a clear asshole. I did a lot of soul searching over the weekend, trying to wrap my mind around how wrong I was, and I decided to talk to one of my friends who's going into psychiatry to learn some more about depression, since as most of you told me, I needed to educate myself on it. My playgroup basically kicked me out over this, and after seeing things from another perspective, I realized that they had every reason to. Yesterday, I gave a more personal apology to my friend, where I apologized for being an asshole and ignorant about how he was feeling. I then had a long talk with him about where he was at with his life and how he was feeling, and holy crap, I didn't know how bad things were for him. Obviously, for privacy's sake, I'm not going to elaborate on that further, but needless to say, I honestly see him in a completely new light with regards to everything, and I'm actually shocked how despite everything that has happened to him, he's able to be such an awesome person and friend to everyone. Speaking of him being an awesome person, he convinced everyone in my playgroup to let me play with them again and not to hold anything against me. I'm honestly lucky as hell here. I should be down multiple friends, and yet I've made it out somehow unscathed. Ironically enough, I now feel a bit guilty about that. I've told him that I'll be around if he ever needs to talk to someone, and I'm hoping that I can turn a new chapter in our friendship. One more positive, and actually fitting of the title friend. Thank you to everyone who helped me understand my failings and why I was being an awful person. In particular, I'd like to thank user Seasonal Garden Ho for their understanding and repeated attempts to get through to me. The particular comment they left that really struck a chord with me was actually this one. You know Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh? You know how all his friends act with him, and how they don't get angry with him? This actually meant more than they probably realized to me, because Winnie the Pooh was one of my favorite things to both read and watch as a kid. So thank you. If I had any awards to give, I would give them to you. Now in the comments, congrats. I hope you become a good friend to him from now on. And I'm happy that Reddit got through to you. Hey there, OP. That's a wholesome update. Everyone makes mistakes and it's okay to work on yourself and be a better person. Just be there for your friend and keep in mind that everyone, no matter how well you know them, has their own stuff going on. And OP replies, yeah, I definitely need to be more aware of what's going on with others, not just how I feel about things all the time. I really love seeing updates like this. You really are lucky to have such a good friend. I hope that you're able to really do better and be more patient. Oh goodness, this is one of the best outcomes I've seen from this page. Good job, you. And OP replies, thank you. I'm trying my best to be better. I'm glad you were able to see the error in your ways. Keep checking in on your friend. As someone who's been in deep depression, that helps more than you might realize. Just knowing there's someone who cares enough to listen can really make a difference. And OP replies, I'm hoping I can work on myself as well, so I can actually be there for my friends without doing damage rather than helping. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my friend's EpiPen? I have a housemate, Jillian, 26 female, who is severely allergic to peanuts. There are 5 of us who rent a house together, and we all agreed to put a label on our food containers to help keep Jillian safe and avoid contamination. I have a mini fridge in my room where I store my drinks so that I don't have to go to the kitchen if I want to drink in the middle of the night. Well, last Friday, my Filipino girlfriend gave me an authentic Filipino dish for lunch at work. It's called kare-kare. It's an oxtail stew with a rich peanut sauce. It's in a glass container, and I saved some so I can have it for dinner. When I got home, I put it in my mini fridge, but I forgot to eat it that night because we ordered pizza for dinner. On Saturday, I went out with my girlfriend and got home at around 9 p.m. When I arrived, Jillian's girlfriend, Trish, confronted me, saying I almost killed Jillian. I didn't know what she was talking about, and she went on saying how irresponsible of me not to label the food in my mini fridge. I asked one of our housemates what the hell happened, and he said Jillian had an allergic reaction to my stew because I didn't put a label on the container. I told them it's inside my personal mini fridge, and how dare they enter my room. Trish said they were looking for beer when they saw my stew. She and another housemate ate it, Jillian only tasted it, and she had an anaphylactic shock where they had to use the EpiPen to stop the swelling. Trish then demanded that I need to pay for the EpiPen. I told them that that's not going to happen. If anything, they should apologize to me for trespassing and stealing my food. They called me an asshole. She and 3 other housemates said that I nearly cost Jillian her life, and the least I could do is apologize and pay for the EpiPen. Am I the asshole? Edit for more info, Jillian was taken to the hospital. No, I never gave anyone any permission to enter my room. They were drinking that time and were looking for more beer. They ate the dish with some rice that they found on top of the mini fridge. I think Jillian ate some rice that had sauce on it. I didn't get to ask the details of what exactly happened. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I think I may be the asshole because what happened to Jillian was more serious than the fact that they entered the room without my permission and stole my food. I should have been more concerned about Jillian and, like they said, pay for her EpiPen. Now in the comments, not the asshole. Literally none of this would have happened if they had not invaded your space without your permission, taken food that didn't belong to them, and then eaten said food. Perhaps this can be a lesson to them in the future, to not enter a space they don't have permission to enter, and to not eat food that they do not have permission to eat. Exactly. Also, was the intention of labeling the food to identify whose food it was, or that it was deadly to the roomie? If the former, wouldn't the food being in OP's room suffice as proof that it was OP's? And if the latter, then stay the hell out of someone else's space and you won't get hurt. The roomie's argument seems akin to someone crying foul that you beat them when they broke into your house at night. Yeah, it was Jillian's greed that nearly cost her her life. The least she can do is stop being greedy. Exactly. I have an allergy that's not life-threatening, but still inconvenient. And even I don't take stuff from other people when I am not sure if it is safe, especially if it's in their own room. Yeah, Jillian is not long for this world if she keeps eating mystery dishes with that severe of a peanut allergy. Not the asshole. You're right, but good luck convincing them. For what it's worth, I have a friend who's allergic to peanuts and carries EpiPens, and I cannot imagine them touching unlabeled food. That's nuts, haha. I have a very mild peanut allergy. Eating one would mean an unpleasant evening, but not require any sort of medication. I would still never eat some anonymous food in a shared fridge, let alone somebody else's fridge. Seriously, what the hell? Especially the type of dish that I imagine this looking like. That's ignoring the fact that peanuts have a pretty distinct smell. I can only imagine that she's used to her parents taking full responsibility for the allergy, in which case the OP has probably inadvertently taught her a valuable lesson, as if it happened outside of her home, it might have had much worse results. Obviously not the arsehole, unless someone directly lied to you. Nobody else is responsible for your allergies. And now back to the post, we have an update. So I visited Jillian in the hospital today, and she apologized to me for what happened. It was an accident. She said she didn't eat my kare, but took some rice. She didn't realize that some sauce got on the rice bowl, so there was clearly a cross-contamination. It wasn't her who went into my room. It was Trish and another roommate, Ian. I will be charging them for the stolen beer and food. And I will definitely buy a lock after this incident. Thank you all for your advice, judgment, and awards. Anyway guys, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you did like it, tell me what you thought about it down in the comments below, and make sure to just interact with everyone in this community. I love each and every one of you that I get to see on a daily basis. And don't forget, if you are a Patreon subscriber, I love you. You're on the screen right now with the YouTube members as well. If you see yourself, give yourself a pat in the back. You guys help me continue this YouTube journey. You keep me going. I see you guys everywhere. I see your messages, and thank you so much for supporting me. I really love every single one of you. But with that all said, I'm going to be signing off now, guys. I hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.